Peace and blessings. Namaste. To all light warriors, workers, and everything in between. It is I, Sophie, today. I'm a studious Sophie today, not dressed up, just kind of relaxing, after doing a little bit of yoga. And I decided that, I'm going to do this presentation on New Earth updates and the focuses. And the reason why I'm doing this presentation is because I'm going to show you that a lot of the things that we are waiting on is already here. And then now that it's time for us to actually put in the work to get everything rolling. There is nothing holding us back, okay, except for ourselves. Okay, and so I want to give you this presentation for some of the areas that you may need to focus on, and how easy some things are to get done and others aren't as easy. Okay, but if we as a collective, and what I mean as a collective, I'm talking about dragon seeds, sun seeds, star seeds, light workers, light warriors, those of us who know that we came here to be of service, we need to be the pioneers of these things. We need to be spearheading these things, okay? And, that there is no point in just sitting around waiting on something when everything that we actually need to get the ball rolling is right here. It's right here. It's all about the way that your mind processes things. I keep telling you all day and all night that this universe is mental, and we have to do mental alchemy, which means that we have to be the change that we want to see. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. All right. So what I'm going to cover in this little presentation is the educational changes that are happening in our schools that you may or may not be aware of, the different financial opportunities, the animal evolution, social changes, community and spiritual, technology, and government focuses, okay? Because we can get this done. It's not difficult. It's not difficult, but I'm telling you, we are here to reshape this world, and we cannot do that by being stagnant, okay? You want to see the change? It's time to do it. And if you have come in here with the power of the Most High, if you have come here with the power of God, then you know that you are one of these pioneers to get these things done. And it is nothing that's going to be too difficult for you. All right, let's roll. Okay, first of all, our education system, right? I told y'all in a previous video that they started implementing the STEAM program. All right. Now, what the STEAM program was designed to do, the STEAM education is an approach to teaching and learning that combines science, technology, engineering, the arts, and math to guide students' inquiry, discussion, problem solving. Education experts say that STEAM is about more than developing practical skills, okay? And this started in 2007, but it didn't start really gaining momentum until 2019. Guess what also gained momentum in 2019, right? So while we were all on lockdown and shut down and protesting, masked and trying to figure out what was going on all over the world, this program was slowly being introduced into our school systems unaware by us, because they did a wonderful job of keeping us distracted on certain things, and there are huge distractions out here. It really is. And not just with the media, but also spiritual communities as well. I'm telling you right now that if they can keep us focused on the things that are wrong, then nobody would be inspired to promote the things that are right. And the STEAM program, okay, allows children to take thoughtful risks, engage in meaningful learning activities, become resilient problem solvers, and embrace and appreciate collaboration, and work through the creative processes, okay? So remember, we were complaining, well, at least I know that I was, about arts being missing from school. We had STEM that focuses just simply on science, technology, engineering, and math. But how do our children start to embrace their creative side? Okay. Well, now STEAM has been implemented, so we can address these things. Okay. Now, if it is not implemented in your schools, then you as parents, as a community, you need to ask for it. Okay. You need to demand it, because it is necessary for the evolutionary growth of your children. It really is. Arts is. Okay. Now, our education and institutions. So there was a time, where you couldn't do anything unless you had went to a 4-year university, sometimes an 8-year university to get anything done. Okay, but what I'm telling you now is that this world has opened up, and everyday people are going about opening up schools. Okay, if you don't like your public schools, if you have an idea of what you would like your schools to represent, then here is some of the ways that you can get it done. Okay, number one, identify your niche 36 to 24 months before opening. Okay, number two, form a committee. Now, if you're a nonprofit, this should be very, very easy. The problem that a lot of people do have when they are formulating nonprofits is when they are building their boards. They typically want to deal with people that they know. It's like, okay, we want to get everybody on board, each one teach one. But I'm telling you, when it comes down to business, sometimes it is not beneficial to you to deal with people that you know or family members, because they're not going to have the same passion as you. So you want to form your committees, okay? Number three, find a home, a place for it. You form your committees 24 months before opening. You find a home 20 months before opening, okay? Make sure that you go ahead, number four, and incorporate it 18 months before opening. If you're going to be a for-profit, if you're going to be a nonprofit, if you're going to be a private school, if you're going to be a charter school, okay? Number six, you need to go ahead and develop a budget 18 months before opening, okay? Number seven, if you're going to be nonprofit, then you have to make sure you do the paperwork for a tax exempt status, and that is to be done 16 months before opening. Number eight, choose your key staff members 16 months before opening. Remember what I said about staff members and working with people? Make sure that the people that you are selecting for this have the same visionary goals as you do. Okay? Stop putting on family and friends. All right, especially if they're not qualified. We're trying to do this to be successful. Okay, pioneers on what we want our schools to look like. Number nine, solicit contributions 14 months before opening. So this is when you have to develop a business plan. All right. If you're going to go away by crowdfunding, you can do it that way. If you could get enough people to believe in your vision, you can start crowdfunding. If not, maybe angel investors. Angel investors is something else. Even applying for grants, only effective if you're a nonprofit. Okay, a private school, or if you have the resources to do so, then you could possibly just go ahead and borrow money. Get a loan to open up your school. All right. Now, number 10, you want to identify your faculty requirements before opening. So understand, what budgets is where, capital, overhead costs, all of those things. Okay. If you have never written a grant before, there are things online like templates that you can go by to show you exactly what it is that's looking for. If you're not that good in math, find somebody who is, okay? Because you don't want to oversell it and you don't want to undersell it either, okay? So make sure you're just doing your homework, okay? Number 11, spread the word 14 months before. So you want to get as many people behind you as possible on board with your vision that thinks the same way that you do. Okay, that wants these things just as bad as you. And you want to talk to these parents, and you want to ask these parents, after you get together your curriculums and tell them what it is that you're trying to present to society, ask parents if this was something that they would even put their children in. Okay, get feedback from your community. Even if the children are already grown, still talk to the parents anyway and say, hey, if this was around when your child was this age, would you be interested in it? Okay. Your feedback should give you a direction on what you may need to tweak or might not need to tweak. Okay. You might be already good to go. Okay. And then number 12, open for business. And typically that is 9 months before the real opening. So what you want to do during this time is this is going to be the last tweaking of everything. Okay, so you'll have maybe government officials walking through, maybe the community walking through, maybe your board of directors or board of trustees. Whatever type of committee that you have put together for yourself to walk through, okay, to point out anything that might be tweaked, changed, upgraded, enhanced. Okay, you're just getting overall feedback. You want to make sure that your facility is operating. Make sure there's no plumbing issues, electricity issues, do dry runs, whatever you have to do. All right. And then you go ahead and open it up. Now, what is the harder part of all of this is the research. Okay. It's the paperwork. It's making sure your T's are crossed and your I's are dotted. And let's face it, not a lot of us have a lot of time to sit around and do this type of extensive research. But if this is something that you are really, really passionate about, you'll make the time. Even if it takes you a whole year, or two, just to get some paperwork started. I know a few successful people who have opened up their own private schools. So once again, if we're going to complain about the public education system, which we know is not really up to par, right? Then what we need to be doing is trying to figure out ways to either improve it or start your own. The resources are available to you. We don't have time for a bunch of excuses right now, okay? So let's keep it moving. All right, now, there were a whole list of successful everyday people who became entrepreneurs and opened up their own schools for whatever reasons, right? And I only listed four because three of these four are minorities, okay? Another one are not, but they're all different races and ethnicities. And they all have a story or a drive behind what made them decide to open up their own school. So the first one we have, and I'm going to probably butcher her last name, just giving you a heads up. Robin Chaurasiya. I'm going to guess that, okay, from Kranti School in India. This is an Indian woman, okay, founded and teaches at Kranti, a nonprofit that empowers marginalized girls from Mumbai's red light areas to become agents of social change. Her students, girls aged 12 to 20, include survivors of trafficking and daughters of sex workers. Okay, so now you see that this is a woman that is recognizing an injustice. Okay, want to get women off the street and get them educated. So her drive was to open up her own private school. See, these are everyday people. Okay, this is not rich. These are not rich people. Number two, we have Elisa Guerrera Cruz of Mexico. Okay, now Elisa was never actually interested in becoming a teacher until she saw the effect that school was having on her son. She was worried that traditional education would destroy his individuality and love of learning. Therefore, 12 years ago, she borrowed money, sold her car, and opened a preschool with 17 children, including her own. Okay? And while she was doing this, she studied for her teaching degree at home, eventually ranking first in the National Teachers Examination. Once again, somebody living their everyday life. Okay? She could have sat around and complained about the school that her sons attended, right? And wait around for something to happen. But she made something happen. She was blessed to do so. Okay? And what I'm giving you is an example of everyday people making the changes that they want to see. All right? Either we're part of the problem or we're part of the solution. And all of us who are at least watching this channel, we know that we're part of the solution. Okay? So I'm just throwing out there certain cases of certain people that took the initiative to change their situation, because if we as a collective did this at the same, we wouldn't have any issues with our government. We wouldn't have any issues with our public schools, okay? But sometimes it's easier to complain than actually put in all of the work. And to be honest with you, as a business owner, and not just having one, but I've had a few of them throughout my life, okay, from a florist, so a small little florist shop that I was running out of my house, to a marketing online business, to an actual storefront business. It does take a lot of work to get these things done. All right. And we can fall into the pits of being lazy. I'm going to admit that I can fall into that and complain, but we're not in the season for that. We are on the new earth. So we have to start spearheading these things. Okay. All right. Sun seeds, star seeds, dragon seeds, Elohim. Okay, this is all you. Okay, you're teaching humanity. You're teaching humanity. You're raising the consciousness. You're raising the vibration. You are the leaders of the new earth, okay? So have something in mind. Have something in mind that you really want to diligently work hard for. And then when you accomplish it, teach others how you've done it, okay? Now, number 3, Ron Clark, United States. Okay, he grew up in a small rural town in North Carolina and started his teaching career at a very challenging school, so one of those alternative schools, right? And to engage its disaffected students, he danced, rapped his lessons, dressed in costumes, and stood on his head, doing everything he could to make learning exciting. He brought joy to the classroom, and test scores soared. And after 5 years at this school, Ron saw a TV show about challenges in New York City school system and was compelled to move there and open up his own school too. Do you understand? This is an everyday Southern man that just had the drive, that was inspired by God to make this type of change. Okay? See, God does not just give us the problems without giving us the solution. We are co-creating, but we can't co-create by sitting still. Okay? That's called Rahab the Do Nothing, if you don't know. All right, and then number 4, we have Nadia Lopez at Mott Hall Bridges, United States, and she was a New York City teacher, fellow working in disadvantaged communities as a special education teacher. And in 2010, she founded a new public district middle school, and it is located in Brownsville, one of the poorest and most violent neighborhoods in NYC. But she was prepping her students to have the prospect of going to college and leading a rewarding career despite having to grow in a disenfranchised neighborhood. So once again, this one here is a poor black woman. A poor black woman. Okay? Everyone that I have named on this list so far were regular people or poor people or disenfranchised people that had a dream, a vision, and the power to go after it. All right? Just giving you a little rundown. Keep going. Now, when we get these schools, there are some additional areas of focus besides STEAM, okay? And you may have some ideas on your own. I'm only sharing some of the ideas that I think would be beneficial for our children and beneficial for, the new earth. Number 1, incorporating philosophy. Okay, in classes. And we can start that very early. Why? We're talking about Plato and Socrates and Aristotle and things of that nature, because what philosophy is designed to do is harness critical thinking and get people to ask the right questions, okay? It encourages independent thought. It encourages individual thought. All right. And in philosophy, in areas of philosophy, there's really no right or wrong answers, but it pushes people to use their minds. Okay. And we want to develop this very early on with our children so that they won't be programmed to think a certain way. Okay. They won't be conditioned to view life a certain way. They'll automatically start adapting to their own independent thoughts. Okay. Number 2, we need to bring back debating courses in our schools. Why? All right. So you heard about narcissism and gaslighting and red herrings and straw men and all of that, all of those things, right? We as a society have lost the ability to reason with one another, to have healthy debates without becoming overly emotional. Okay, without becoming nasty, disrespectful, personal attacks, things of that nature, violent even. When we teach our children how to present arguments in a healthy fashion, we're also teaching them problem-solving skills, conflict resolution. Okay? We don't agree on something. Let's talk it out. Let's have a debate. Why do we have to go to blows? Why do I have to talk about how fat your mama is? Okay? Why do I have to take you out in the schoolyard and tear that up? Do you understand what I'm saying? So teaching children how to articulate, how to express themselves, how to present an argument, how to be healthy, how to critically think. Okay? And get out of this emotion. This is where we're also training our children how to balance logic and emotion, okay? By doing ways of debate. One of my favorite YouTubers of all time that I will watch constantly, okay, is Jordan Peterson. I love the way that he knows how to present an argument. He is an alpha male, but he's very poised when he speaks. He's very articulate when he speaks. He gets to the facts. Okay. And this is what a lot of our masculines are failing to do this, failing in this area. You cannot be as emotionally drawn as women, and not saying that all women are emotional. Not saying that all women are emotional, right? And even if we are emotional, so what? We're designed to be that, right? But with you, we have to have some type of balance, okay? If something goes wrong, both of us can't sit in the living room crying. Both of us can't sit there crying. Okay? So we have to learn, we have to relearn. Our masculines have to relearn that, it just because you're in a disagreement don't mean that you're enemies. Don't mean that it has to be personal. Don't mean that you have to be attacked. Don't mean that it has to be an emotional experience or a violent experience. Okay? We also need to start teaching in our schools entrepreneurship and business. Okay? We're trying to get past these big major corporations buying up everything and buying off of the government, right? But what if you could raise a whole generation of entrepreneurs? What would your economy look like then? Okay. Would there be the upper and then the zero class? Because let's face it, middle class disappeared, right? So we even have the haves and the have-nots, right? We've had the haves and the have-nots. Most of us are struggling. Okay. We're at varying degrees of poor. And then it just jumps to the well off. But if you start to implement training on creating entrepreneurs, letting children know that the sky is not the limit for them, right? That they don't have to have dreams and aspirations of working for somebody else, and we cultivate those dreams and those aspirations, these children will have a stronger sense of self, pride in oneself, pride in one's accomplishments. Okay. And not only that, but we're setting the foundations for generational wealth. Yes, we are. Okay. Other things that need to be taught in schools, from my opinion, trade as well. Trade. Okay. We need our plumbers. We need our electricians. We need our carpentry. I had this conversation in 2019. And I remember telling, a sister of mine, if I had to do it all over again, I would probably bypass the communications degree. Okay. I went to school on 3 different occasions because I couldn't figure out what I wanted to be when I grew up. All right. So the first time I went and got an associate's in IT networking and security from ECPI. Okay. And then I went to go do coding. And at that time it was C++. Okay. C++, SQL was just coming out, but PHP had not hit us yet. And I wanted to do programming and coding. Then I realized this is boring. Like, I was bored to death. I wasn't even paying attention. I was staring off in space like this. You know what I mean? So then I went back to school after I accumulated a job as a data analyst for Wharton Brothers. Okay, if you've never heard of Wharton Brothers, this is a trading company. They deal with technical analysis. And I was the one that was responsible for, putting out the new IPOs or the splitting of the dividends, doing the Wharton reports where I would speak and tell if it was bullish or bearish, going through that. I mean, it was just very, very technical. And when I was doing that, I got an offer from Comstock that was stationed out in Syracuse, New York. Okay. And they were going to offer me $80,000 a year to do that. $80,000 a year just to start off at Comstock in Syracuse, New York. But I was in a commitment at that time, and my son was only 2 years old, and I did not want to separate my family unit. So I turned that down, and what I decided to do was to go back to school. And what it was going to do for me is I was going to transition and get another associate's in accounting, and then trans over, to a BS in economics. Well, I was bored with that. So we were just going to figure out that I was bored with math altogether. And so I ended up getting my BS in communication. So I got all these degrees and couldn't figure out what to do with my life because none of them matched. All right. So I said to myself, yes, it's good to have this background if I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I did not open up in any businesses at that time. And I said to my sister, that I was talking to at the time, if I could do it all over again, I may have went and gotten a trade. Why? Because that's the one area that's never going to go anywhere. Okay, having those type of skills means that you'll always be an entrepreneur. You'll either work for a company, but you got skills to work for yourself. All right. So having trades is a good thing. Don't look down on blue collar workers. They're definitely needed. Okay. And the last thing that I think we should be focusing on in schools is nutrition and health. Okay. Yeah. When I was growing up, we had these weird square slices of pizza. If you didn't bring your own lunch, you was at the mercy of whatever they fed you. And I remember these square hard pizzas, okay, and these raggedy hot dogs, everything that was, possibly unhealthy. Oh, they gave it to us. Why? Because it was the cheapest. And when you're in an urban environment, I'm from Philadelphia, when you're in an urban environment, okay, you kind of do what's cost effective, especially to the urban people. We did not have the same type of lunches that they probably did in the suburbs. You see what I mean? But we need to make something like this unified across the board to implement better food for our children, okay? And give them better understandings of their health and their nutrition so that these habits stay with them for the rest of their life, not just when they're at school. All right, let's keep going. I'm sorry, I get long-winded sometimes. All right, now we're going to deal in the area of finances now, okay? Because this is here as well. It's here as well. Okay, we were talking about, oh my God, we're going to crash the economy or we need to let this go. Fine. What's your backup plan? Okay, if a solar flash hit and everything died and then we just started all over, what's going to happen? Chaos? Helter-skelter? Anarchy? If you don't have anything in place, then you need to be very, very careful of what it is that you're asking for. All right. So right now, why aren't we not transitioning so that when these things start to happen, there are processes in place and it's not anarchy and people going crazy. Not everybody's calm to be able to handle things. So in the finances department, we already got things set up, okay, for the average person, the meek, so they say, to inherit the earth, okay? Do you have to have a college degree, a PhD, or be wealthy to invest in cryptos or NFTs? No, but I am watching a lot of everyday people make a very good living and get themselves out of poverty by doing so already, okay? Online businesses is another thing. People are working from home. They're making good money in whatever area of expertise that they are going through. Okay, so they're not even at the mercy of these corporations that we hate so much anymore. You see, your world is already transforming. You're just too blind to see it. Okay, you also have online banking apps. Remember those days where if you bounced a check or something like that and you went to go to a bank to open up a bank account and they said, oh, you're on check system, we can't open this up for you, please. Now you've got all types of ways that you can bank. And it doesn't matter what your credit score is, okay? None of those things matter anymore. What are we still complaining about? The things that we need are already here. It's already on the new earth. You just got to be diligent enough to get it done. You have to be resourceful enough to know how to work it. We came here to work it, okay? Tear down one system, simultaneously rebuild another one. This way society does not go helter-skelter. Okay, that's logic. That's righteous thinking there. Okay, or do you just want everything to burn? I don't know. I don't know what it is you want. I personally would like to see everybody, successful, making it, growing and moving. So while one thing is being torn down, another one should be simultaneously being rebuilt. That's just order. The whole universe is designed off of order. When things don't have order, you know what the outcomes are, okay? And then you also have grants and things out here. Now, this is the biggest pain in the tail. I don't know if any of you have written grants before. I have, okay? 2 or 3 of them, right? Grants take a very long time to research, Number one, to find one that is going to match what it is that you're doing. And sometimes you can't find ones that's matching what you're doing. So then you have to go back and revamp your business plan so that you can qualify for a grant that may be able to get you started. So what I'm saying to you is everything that you need to change your world is already available to you. The problem is the due diligence of getting it done. And grant writing is not an easy process. Okay, I may have to have changed one grant proposal at least 12 times before even submitting. And I was lucky enough that even when I submitted it, because the city planner knew me and liked me a lot, okay, and understood what I was fighting for, she was gracious enough to send it back and tell me what my error was so that I can change it and get approved for the grant. That doesn't always happen. Most of the time they throw it in the trash. They got so many, they don't have time to mess with you. So what I'm saying to you is when you have God's favor on your life, you will see it work in your life, okay? All right, you will be inspired to do these things. Let's keep on going, darlings. All right, animal evolution. Oh my God. This was really difficult in trying to find this and explain it and explore this concept with simple pictures. Okay, I didn't quite have a way to impart video on here, but I want you to pay attention to the animal kingdom. All right. Are your dogs smiling? Yeah, they are. Okay, and I seen this happen visiting a friend of mine's store that has a little Dachshund. I think it's a Dachshund, a little hot dog dogs. And where every time that dog would come up to see me, it would just bare its teeth like this. And she would say, "Oh, he's smiling at you." And I'm like, since when does dogs smile? Okay, this is new. Okay, you also see the horse and the mustache. Y'all thought I was joking about that. No, your horses are developing mustache. They're being manly stags now. Okay, remember back in the day when dogs had a hard time standing on their hind legs for long periods of time because the hip structures wasn't supporting it. Now they are. They have evolved where it's no longer painful for them. And you're slowly seeing them have the ability to walk around all day on two without being in pain. Okay, now another thing, look at the picture in the middle with the white dog. Who sits like that? When do dogs sit like that? Not only are dogs sitting like that, cats are sitting like that. Okay, now the two on the left and the right of that dog is very, very, very important, because what you are seeing is a prophecy being fulfilled. The wolf shall lie with the lamb, the leopard shall lie down with the kid, the calf, etc., etc., the lion and the fatling together, and the little child shall lead them. Understand what you are seeing is biblical prophecy being fulfilled. All right? You are watching the animal kingdom come to peace in a lot of areas. If you are not paying attention to it, I would suggest that you go to TikTok or you go to YouTube, okay, and just observe these behaviors. The most unlikely of friends are coming together. Animals that typically kill and eat each other are no longer doing that, okay? This was a prophecy. Why aren't you paying attention? I know I'm not on this earth by myself. Maybe I am, but I don't think so, okay? So y'all have to pay attention to the evolutionary cycles that are taking place, okay? Stop paying attention to people that's constantly doing the doom and gloom right now. We are not in doom and gloom space. We're in creative space. We're in innovative space. We're getting ready to make these changes, okay? All you have to do is stand up. All you got to do is stand up and fight for it. Let's go. Social norms and abnormal social relationships. Okay, we're already seeing this now. For the most part, yeah, for a long time we've seen black men with white women, etc. All right, but now you're seeing black women and Asian men, black men and Asian women, Indian women and Hispanic men, black men, white woman or Irish woman. Okay, you already know the famous couple in the middle there, so we don't even have to go there. But then another one, a Scottish and an African woman. All right. So we've already started tearing down all of these racial divisions. You just have to pay attention. It's just that some people don't like to see this, so that they keep on promoting racism so that we can stay divided. Why? Because a house divided against itself cannot stand. And they know the moment that we unite as a people and take down what's really holding us back, once we remove the mask of delusion that they keep pushing, pushing, because they want wars. They want violence. They want to keep us divided. We're not here to be divided. Are we here to fight for our rights and equality? Yes. But does that mean we have to do so at the expense of somebody else's culture or race? No. We just stand for what is righteous at all times. And we can do this in a peaceable manner. Okay, but I'm just letting you know that abnormal social relationships are already here. Okay, in the book of Owaspy, it already prophesied as well that this was going to happen because the borders were going to be opened up, and each race or class of people were designed to teach another group or class of people so that humanity as a whole can rise. All right, now let's keep going. Spirituality and religion. Look at it. Look at it. There was a time where you'd be run out of town for practicing tarot, right? Being a tarot reader, being a Reiki healer, being a shaman, being yoga, Tai Chi, Qigong. This is the spiritual revolution. Why? Because it was all that also was prophesied in the last days. God said, I will pull out my spirit on all people. Okay, sons and daughters will prophesy. Your young men will see visions. Your old men will dream dreams. And what this is saying to you is these things are not just limited to your religion institutions. Your tarot readers can prophesy, right? Your Reiki healers can channel God's energy and heal through energy. Yoga practitioners, shaman, mystics, all of these things, okay? It's not about what you do. It's more important of the intentions behind why you're doing it. Okay? You have light and dark in all things. I remember, and this leads me to another story, when I was a minister in the church, right? And excuse me, I used to have to, march in with the pastor and the reverend and sit in the little pulpits and stuff like that. And I, would have to do, hold the prayers, and people would line up and I would lay hands on them and I would prophesy over their life, and they were all for it. They loved me, oh, we want to talk to Minister Robinson, or Reverend Robinson or what have you. They all loved me. But as soon as I took the same abilities that I had then outside of the church, now I'm a heretic. You see what I'm saying? I'm not doing anything different. I'm still praying. I'm still prophesying. I'm still laying on hands. But the fact that it's not in the institution now made it an issue. Now it's for the devil. But I wasn't the devil when I was in the church. Do you see what I'm saying? When God pours his spirit out onto people, you can choose to be in a religious institution, or you can choose to be independent. You can choose to be spiritual. The thing is, what works are you bringing forth? What fruit are you bearing? Do you understand? So him saying he pouring his spirit on all flesh, that doesn't mean just to the religious people. All means all. We all have the ability to tap into that source God consciousness, and we utilize our gifts in a healthy and righteous manner. The only time you get in trouble is when you're using your gifts for negativity. Then you got to just deal with karma. And, we all have had to deal with it, so it's not a big deal. You'll learn from it and you'll be okay. Okay, let's keep going. Technology. Now, this list went forever. On and on and on and on and on. My God. My God. It's a lot going on. But I knew that it was going to happen because it's 2022, right? So two of the ones I really wanted to focus on out of all of the ones that I list, and that was genomics, okay? And genomics is the study of all of a person's genes, the genome, including interaction of those genes with each other and with the person's environment. Okay, so let me put this to you in layman's terms. With genomics, they have the ability to isolate certain DNA strands from the body that may be linked to certain diseases that was either passed down through genetics or hereditary, whatever it is. They are working on the way to cure a lot of diseases that was passed down by simply isolating that particular genome from the DNA, an extraction. The Nutty Professor, they already showed you that they were in the works of that, and that came out how long ago? So it's already here on this earth right now. So here's some of your cures, okay? The ability to understand genetics and DNA. Now, some of you are going to say that this is evil. It's evil if you use it for evil. It's good if you use it for good. Once again, get into the middle of equilibrium. Understand what is what and what isn't. When I was at the church, again, I was going to this story and it kind of slipped my mind. Okay, so remember I told you I was all, in the pulpits. They would see me every Sunday, this, that, and the third. I had this beautiful reputation. I was invited to a pool hall one Saturday night before I went into the church. And as I was talking to the first lady of the church and she was asking me where I was headed to, I told her I was going to a pool hall. And I remember her saying to me, well, I just want to say this to you, I'm not trying to be smart, but, when you are clergy, certain behaviors, are frowned upon, like going to a pool hall and stuff. And I said, oh, okay. I said, so shooting pool is a sin? No, it's just, certain environments we should stay away from because of the way it makes us look. I have never been one that cared about what anybody thought when it comes down to what I look like. So this is what I explained to her. I said, listen, I understand exactly what you're saying for those with weaker faith, okay, that need somebody to sit up and be all pious to them, okay? But I'm here to tell you that when I shoot pool, I am simply taking a cue stick, I'm hitting the white ball, and I'm knocking other balls into the hole. Okay, it's a game. It's good. However, if I take that same cue stick and crack you over the head with it, now it's evil. Do you understand? Other than that, a game is just a game. Do you see what I'm saying? So this is how you need to approach technology. Figure out what it's being used for. Some technology and advances in technology are very, very helpful for humanity. Others may not be. Okay? But don't judge it as a whole. Also, we have augmented reality, AR. It's an experience where designers enhance part of users' physical world with computer-generated input. Designers create inputs ranging from sound to video to graphics to GPS overlays and more in digital content, which responds in real time to changes in the user's environment, typically movement. Okay, we've seen that through when people are viewing things through their smartphones. The most simplest example of this was what? Pokemon Go. Okay, do you remember things like that? Are you going to consider that good or evil? Okay, could be both. Some people that get caught up in AR or virtual reality may lose touch with physical reality. Okay, it may be a way to trap the mind. I don't know. I know that I personally don't use it. But could there be a benefit to it? Only time will know. The only thing that I'm showing you is that the technology is here. And if we can do things like this, the sky is really the limit for us. No, we're going to go past that. We're actually going to go past the sky. There is no limit, right? There is no limit to man's creativity and innovation. The only person that limits man is man. All right? Let's keep going, babies. Just listing some other things from technology. Okay. Of course, we have artificial technology, robotics. That's a doozy. Autonomous vehicles that can drive themselves, sustainable energy. Okay. Augmented reality, virtual reality, which we just went through. Digital trust like blockchains and 3D printing. All right. So your new earth is working very, very hard. You just got to make sure that you direct it to where it needs to go. Okay, everything that you need is already here. Will you take control over it and turn it into something positive and get the earth that you really deserve and get the freedom that you really deserve? It's up to you, right? It's up to us. Let's keep going. Government focuses. All right. So this is the pain in the tail for everybody. Nobody is 100% on board with our government. All right. We either have issues with one thing, two things, three things, four things. There is nobody that's like, yeah, United States government is the best in everything. Okay, we might have some people that believe that it's a good government, but I'm telling you the things that I feel that we should be focusing on and how to do that. Okay, so number one, we need to completely remove the two-party system. Seriously. From years and years and years and years, decades, Democrat, Republican, two wings of the same bird. We need to go ahead and remove that and get that out the way and turn it back into a democracy again. We need the removal of corporate interests and lobbyists. Our governments are constantly being brought out. If there is a politician, a judge, or anything that is sitting in the courts that can be brought, they need to be removed. We don't have time for that. We need the interest of the people. Okay? That's how your governments need to be run. The ending of income tax. Removal of income tax requirements altogether. This is what it was illegal from the beginning. Nobody wants their hard-earned money being taxed. Okay? Now, I put in sales tax, and this is going to be controversial for you guys, but I'm going to tell you why I believe it should work. Now, the reason why, a lot of our governments stand by the income tax thing is because, where's the money going to come from when you need to build bridges, fix roads, build schools, beautify the city, do tourist attractions, right? I proposed that we remove the income tax and use a sales tax instead. Okay, higher sales taxes. Now, before y'all get upset about that, let me tell you what it can do for you. For those of you who are a little bit frivolous with money, I bet you if the things that you freely kept buying skyrocketed a little bit, you'd be able to budget a little bit better. Your states could still do what it is that is necessary. You can keep 100% of your checks to you, of what you earn that's supposed to go to you. And now you'll be a little bit more frugal or cautious on your spending habits. So they'll teach you how to budget a little bit better. Okay? You'll save more money. And the states can still get what they need done. Now, that was just my suggestion. If you have a better suggestion, leave it in the comments on how to replace the income tax. But I'm just saying sales tax. Okay? Now, another thing, removal of the credit bureau and financial blockages. The credit bureau is a nightmare. It is what separates the haves and the have-nots. No one should ever be denied anything that they need. Okay? Based on some 3-number system. No one. It sucks when you go through a financial hardship and you're trying to find an apartment or buy a house and they're telling you don't have enough credit to do that. And you can't even get an apartment. I've seen people in that position. These are basic necessity, basic things that we all need. How dare we be denied for those? Okay? So that whole system needs to go. Vehicles, another thing. Anything that is stopping people from utilizing their God-given right. How the heck do you get denied for water? Gas, electricity. Do you see how unfair the system is? You have the power to change it, though. You don't have to just take this or lying down. You don't have to roll over and let this happen. Do you understand? We the people. Yeah? Yeah, we the people. Okay? Now, remember. Oh, I just said that. We the people. Here's some of the things that we can be doing as a collective. Meditate on it. Collaborate in small groups in your own states and your cities. Okay? But I told you, everything that we need to govern our new earth is already here. The changes are already being implemented. The abilities are already here. The capabilities, are already here. Okay? Number one, start pushing for nonpartisan politicians. Get people to represent you. Don't let them be affiliated with this, that, and the third. Let them be affiliated with righteousness, right? Ethics, morality, things that are going to be beneficial to the people. Number 2, start supporting local and small businesses. Where's your farmers, your carpenters, all of that? Guess what? If you start doing those things, you take the power away from the large corporations. You take the power away from the large corporations. They don't have the money to go out and lobby. They don't buy up your towns and put your mom and pop stores out of commission and have them dependent. Do you understand? Which is one of the reasons why we should be teaching, entrepreneurship in schools. Right? Okay. Start protesting, boycotting credit bureaus. Get your letters going. Get your letters going. I don't want to have to go through all of this just to buy a house or to rent an apartment or to rent a car. It's getting ridiculous. How do you identify somebody by a 3-digit number? That makes you a slave. Okay? The moment your government, your financial institutions, your world no longer looks at you as an individual, but you are identified by a number, there is a problem. It takes the humanity out of it, doesn't it? They don't care what you're going through. They don't care what if rather not you have families to support. They don't care about anything. They're only lumping up your whole existence, your whole identity in 3 numbers. Think about that. What makes that any different than your prison systems? Hello? When you go to jail or when you go to prison, you're no longer Sophie or Rachel or Austin or whoever. You're no longer that. You are inmate 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's no different than your credit bureaus. I'm no longer Sophie. I'm 648 or 720 or 430. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's a problem for you. Make sure that you start addressing these things. Okay, select aldermen who represent the interests of the people. All right, you all know what aldermen are. You want somebody to complain to, they take it up the food chain, up the ladders and get things done. Start demanding for the restructuring of your education. What I talked to you about earlier. If you are not one of those that have that entrepreneurship spirit to go out and open up your own private school or your own charter school, fine. Maybe school is not your thing. Maybe you want to focus on some other type of business. If that is the case, then you still need to be demanding the things that you want to see implemented in your schools to the school boards. How many of you have sat in public forums and listened to your city councils, your congressmen, teach you or talk to you what it is that they're trying to get done, and stand in those lines, go to the microphone and ask some serious questions? I'm not scared. Are you? No. No. We're not scared. We came here with the power. Okay? We are dragons. There is no fear in a dragon. There might be fear in other things, but there's no fear in a dragon. Okay, so we get that. We start demanding. Get involved with community forums and see what laws are trying to be imposed. I already said that. Okay, stop supporting big corporate takeovers. I know y'all want Walmart because y'all think that the prices is cheap. But small mom and pop stores can do you well. All right? Because when they come into town, this is what they do to your towns and in your cities. They run others out of business. Guess what? If you could keep 100% of your checks, it wouldn't be that much of an issue, would it? Okay. Support independent journalists and journalism. We don't have to sit around and listen to what mainstream media tell us. All of us are equipped with camera phones now, huh? Some of you always wanted to be a journalist. Some of you always wanted to go to school for it. Guess what? Remember we were talking about how education can be free? It actually is. It actually is. Think I'm lying? There are websites all over the internet where you can take free courses and learn how to do things. What are we waiting on again? Everything is already here. You better do the mental alchemy and learn how to see this reality correctly. Because if you don't know how to see this reality correctly, you're never going to move. You're never going to grow, and you'll be stuck waiting for something. Okay? Meanwhile, the rest of us, we're getting ready to experience the shift because we're going to make the shift. Okay? You can learn anything you want through the internet and don't have to pay thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to do it. If there is a course that you were interested in college, say communication, you pull up that college website and you look at the curriculum and they show you what books you can get, what's stopping you from buying the books yourself? Teaching yourself. It's a matter of discipline and how bad do you want it? All right? But you can take college courses online. Yeah, you can, without being enrolled in an educational system. And on top of that, you can teach online without having all of these degrees too. This isn't a new earth? Wow. It's a rapidly changing old one then. Because I'm telling you, change your perspective, darlings. Okay, learn to grow your own food, of course. Okay, that goes without saying. Learn holistic medicines. Check this one out, okay? I told you, I'm getting ready to prove it again. There was a time in the past where, people like myself got gaps in buck teeth, right? We would have to pay thousands of dollars going to the dentist to go ahead and get braces, right? Do you have to do that now? No. No, you don't. Okay? What you can do now is you can get an at-home kit. Do your imprints, get it mailed off, and they send you braces that look exactly like your teeth for like $70 that will train your teeth. Do you understand what I'm saying? Every illness, ailment, or disease that we have, there is a natural cure for it and somebody that can help you with it. Yes, it is. Okay? So your free healthcare and dentistry, all of these things, you can find it when you are researching correctly. Was this available years ago? No, it was not. Okay? But if you know how to look for things, you can find exactly what it is that you need without having all of those costs. And lastly, collaborate in groups to send letters to the IRS. Look, we hate the IRS, right? Yeah, we do. Everybody does. Okay? You are lying if you say, oh, yay, IRS, that's a beautiful thing. I'm not going to say that everybody hates it. Some people get earned income credit tax. Y'all love it. But those of us who owe every single year, it is not my friend. It is not my friend. I hate tax season because I'm always owing. I don't care how I finagle it. I don't care if I pay somebody else to do it. I'm still going to owe. Okay? So it's not beneficial to me. I'm paying taxes all year long, and at the end of the year, I have to pay more taxes just because I want to work. Do you really think that's fair? Well, if you're the one collecting the money, you might think it's fair. But have you ever thought of what it takes to get that money from other people? This is why we fight. See? That's where the division comes from, the haves and the haves not. The haves feel like, just because I have, why do I have to do bigger taxes? Why I worked very hard for my empire that I built. Why am I forced to give 30 or 40% of that to you? And the poor people are saying, well, we need to help and support. So because you're rich, you need to give to us. So everybody's fighting. Everybody's fighting. When the reality is, we shouldn't have income tax. If we don't have that, cut out a lot of the feuds. Okay. I guess I'm done with all of this. Let's keep moving. In hindsight, I just want to thank you. Okay. I want to thank you because I am putting, oh, look, I forgot to take the stuff off of the presenter. I'm sorry. It was a template and I was rushing. That's so cute. Anyway, y'all get to see it now. It's all up there. I ain't going back to change this. It took too long to get through it. What I want to say to you is we need collective, a complete overhaul in our mental thinking. We do. Okay? We don't need the Debbie Downers constantly in our ears telling us what everything that's going on wrong in the world. When you see that every opportunity to make things right in the world is right there at your fingertips. So now, if everything is still going on wrong with the world, there's only one person that you can blame. It damn sure ain't God. Do you understand? Only one person you can blame. It is your mentality. Transmute this energy. Okay? Stand for what it is that you want to see done. Be the change that you want to see. Spearhead and pioneers. You aren't black sheep for no reason. All right? You aren't star seeds and dragon seeds for no reason. You came here on a mission. Your mission was to tear down these systems and rebuild another. But how many of you are actually rebuilding the other? Right? Just change your mindset and watch your reality change with it. And if you want to be stuck in that space of woe is me, okay, I'm still going to love you, but I can't join you in a sunken place. All right? I can't join you in that sunken place. I'm here trying to figure out how the heck I'm going to get what I need to get done. All right? For the betterment of humanity, and so should you. All right? I am Sophie. I love you all. Bye.